Hi, hello and welcome. Welcome to the Arts Council of Surrey Community Art Gallery here at the Newton Cultural Centre. My name is Wendy Mould. I am the producer of Gallery Talks. I'm here today to introduce you to our featured artist for the month of June, Megan Carich. Megan's show, Inclusiveness, is all about her masks. Wait till you see these masks. They're awesome. If you would like to see the show in person, which I do recommend, you can make an appointment with the Arts Council of Surrey, or you can see the show online at artscouncilofsurrey.ca. The show is here until June 29th. Let's go meet Megan and learn something about these masks. I'm really pleased to talk to you about your masks today. I've seen them before and it's pretty exciting to actually have time to talk to you about them instead of just look at them myself. So tell us, I understand they all have some meaning, and of course I can see they would. And tell us about Warrior's Truth.
Thanks, Wendy. Warrior's Truth started out with being inspired with a story on the monarch butterflies. And a group of scientists had flown the monarch butterflies in an opposite direction of their migration path. And they wanted to see what would happen once they let them go. And they all self-corrected themselves. So Warrior's Truth is the butterflies, the monarch butterflies, but it's also about self-correcting ourselves and something that we can do as many times as what we want to be able to get to the place where we need to be in our lives. So I did a little bit of looking at the types of leaves or how I might want to be able to create this mask. And so this is one of the things that I came across was the butterflies were so torn up from their journeys. And so that's one of the reasons why I don't have perfect butterflies on this particular mask, is because it's the journey and we all get bumps along the way, even when we self-correct ourselves.
Well, that is really cool. Yes, thank you. Well, I must admit, Megan, this little dragon here surprised me because all of your masks here are women, and I hadn't thought of that. But Matilda, our dragon, is awesome. Tell us about Matilda.
Thanks, Wendy. I don't really think about my masks as women. I think about them with female energy, which is extremely powerful, creative, and as I did with Matilda. Matilda was the second mask that I designed after my bird mask. And I wanted to do a dragon. I had to figure out how I was able to, embed my teeth in there and try and get a little bit of the inside and a little bit of a growl with Matilda. And she's a mother. She represents the mothers and how protective they are and how loving they are. And so Matilda got her name from my mother. I called my mother and I said, Mom, I really want you to name my first dragon. And she said, Matilda. And I said, Matilda, Mom, really? And she goes, yes. Matilda is the very first dragon book that I read, and it had a red dragon on here. I said, well, Mom, it's not red. And she says, I still want Matilda. So Matilda it is. And Matilda actually represents strength and power. So I was fine with that because my mother was a fairly small woman, but you didn't want to mess with her. And what I did here is actually each side, it took me about 8 hours to punch all these little scales in here. And then the little tiny critters that you see flying represent the children that my mother loves. And after raising 6 children, she also looked after children that needed help in different situations. And so when I think of my mother in that area, it makes sense that I had to have a lot of them. So yeah, that's Matilda.
Very neat, very neat. And when you tell me that story, I can see that she looks like a fierce, protective mother there. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to show the inside of Matilda's mask because it represents our own sanctuary. And I have this inside as if Matilda was looking from her cage outside into the real world. And that was something that I felt really necessary on doing. I actually do a little bit of that in many of my masks, is to show a little bit of something inside that represents the mask.
Thank
Okay.
you. This is kind of neat. So now, Megan, you're going to show us some of the behind-the-scenes production of these masks and some of the programs that you've been running.
Mhm.
I'm very interested to hear about that.
Oh, thanks, Wendy. I fell into art by accident. I was going through my children's, going to pick up my children at their school, and I went down a different hallway, and when I came across a display of masks like this, and there was probably about 25 of them, that just wowed my senses, and I could not get that image out of my head. And so I went to talk to the teacher about it, and she was kind enough to be able to give me that pattern. When I was doing these, I would make little ones for my children's goodie bags and stuff like that, but I wanted to also expand, and I wanted to put a throat into it so it could actually come off of the head. And so I created the design like this, of this mask. So when I was able to figure out how to take the mask off of the face, I designed this shape. Now this is actually cardboard, and when I first started, I started using the cardboard from cereal boxes. I had no idea about leather. I went to it's like a small little business, or like school, I'll just call it school, and somebody had said to me, Megan, why don't you try leather? And I thought, leather? And I was kind of really dismissive about that. But I Googled leather masks, and my world just opened up. I could not believe it. Absolutely beautiful. And I really love the mask, but I didn't want my mask to represent any other masks that were out there. And so while designing this, I really wanted to make a larger mask because I wanted to put more emphasis into it. I usually go through, my masks represent powers or dreams, different ways where we can think in a powerful sense, meaning that we have so much power inside of ourselves we don't realize it. When I was developing my skill as making masks, I ended up designing something that was a bit longer. And this type of cardboard is really a stronger cardboard, and it's not easy to be able to, when you paint it, it's not easy for it to collapse. And this is sort of like the one mask that I like to work the most with. When I was still in my developing stages, I also had a friend who is the co-founder of the Stream of Dreams, and she said, Megan, you need to make a salmon. And so I did. This mask over here actually was from an inmate at Surrey Pretrial, and he did an amazing job. He didn't even know that he was an artist. He just picked up a pen and he started drawing it, and much to all of our surprises. So as I was designing my program and I was making these masks, I actually had a school teacher that came up and asked me if I would teach schools, and I said, yes, I would love to. And actually my very first school was at Strawberry Hill. And they were just actually in the process of doing a speech contest. And after they had made their mask and was on display, they ended up interviewing their parents because they wanted to know where their parents came from. It was sort of like a project of communication. And they did do that. And then they sent me this beautiful book of their artist statements and thanked me for their journey and what they had been able to accomplish. Just beautiful. I also have other classes that could be youth at risk, could be kids that have a hard time processing it, disabled children. And so they even too are able to do an artist statement. Even though it's not as long, that does not matter. It's about their journey, and I'm excited about that.
That is so cool. So this journey with your masks has really taken you in many different directions, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. I'm really excited about the future, especially because nowadays mental health is really coming to the forefront, and I find that when I'm teaching that it's an amazing process from the very beginning when you see them, kind of wondering how this is going to be, to the very end, and how their masks are beautiful and how it represents them and where they want to go in the future.
That is so neat. Well, I must say, Megan, I've really enjoyed chatting with you today, and once again, I'd like to congratulate you on a lovely show, and just remind everyone that Megan's show, Inclusiveness, is here until June 29th. You can see it in person if you come to the gallery by appointment, or it's available online at any time at artcouncilofsurrey.ca. Thank you again.
Thanks, Wendy.